Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Pappas, and I'm a sophomore at Morehead State. And today I'm going to be doing my CA report about the company Apple. Obviously, everybody's heard of Apple or maybe has an Apple product. So, starting off, I'm going to do a little bit of background info about the company itself. A lot of people may know this story, a lot of people may not. But Apple was actually founded in 1976 in a garage by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And from that garage, it has grown to be one of the most obviously powerful and profitable companies across the globe. And an interesting fact I found regarding their prominence is 82% of American teens actually have an iPhone, which is really crazy if you think about it. And it also goes to show that Apple isn't going anywhere if teenagers are all using their products. And moving on, I'm going to talk a little bit about some conclusions that I found about the company. And first off, something that rubbed me wrong, I guess, about Apple was their mission statement. Back in the earlier days of the company, Steve Jobs' mission statement for Apple was simply to make a contribution to the world by making tools for the mind that advance humankind. And to me, a mission statement should be something like that is sort of inspiring and makes people want to use their products and makes people think that their products are like advancing the world or basically bottom line inspiring. But their mission statement today is a little different, and I kind of view it as more of a conceited advertisement rather than an inspiring statement that makes me want to go buy Apple products. Anyways, their mission statement today reads as follows. Apple designs Macs, the best personal computers in the world, along with OS X, iLife, iWork, and professional software. Apple leads the digital music revolution with its iPods and iTunes online store. Apple has reinvented the mobile phone with its revolutionary iPhone and App Store and is defining the future of mobile media and computing devices with the iPad. To me, their mission statement should be way different than that, and that just kind of, if you're able to follow along with that, it basically just advertised a lot of their products and was sort of conceited in saying that they're the best at all these revolutionary things, which may be true, but to me, their mission statement should be a little bit more inspiring rather than advertising. Next, their advertisements overall. Their advertising team, I think, does a great job in doing some research for this. I found that a lot of their ads have a lot of the same structure, and for example, their most recent ads is a series of ads for the AirPods, which, if you've not heard of them, is basically wireless headphones that kind of like hang down to here and like I said, are wireless, and they're pretty revolutionary, and it's a cool idea. And their ads for these are always very simple, and you may have seen them on TV, but they usually include people kind of just walking down the sidewalk with a song in the background that adds just a lot of simplicity to it, and it really just they build a lot of their ads to make the product seem like a need, and in the commercials, the people need the AirPods to go along about their day, and they kind of gain superpowers from the AirPods. It's just a cool overall advertising strategy to me, just because it makes it the product is so useful and accessible, and I like the simplicity of it, but also the way that they frame their product. Moving on to their organizational structure, they utilize a hierarchical I think I said that right, structure in which they have a CEO at the top and the VPs below the CEO, and then any subsequent employee below that, just in a linear fashion in terms of power. And obviously, their old CEO, Steve Jobs, I found that when he was the CEO, a lot of the company's moves and the way it ran really just ran through him, and he made a lot of the decisions. But obviously he passed away, and their new CEO is Tim Cook, and a lot of websites that I found about him make it sound like he utilizes his VPs a lot more, and the power is spread out a lot more than it was under Steve Jobs. And according to the websites and articles about Tim Cook. He does a great job of kind of allocating power and responsibility to the company and its employees. So they still use the organizational structure that Steve Jobs had set in place. And something else that they still use that he set in place was their meeting strategies. And he actually had three main strategies that he implemented for all their meetings. The first one being a small meeting size. He liked to just keep, according to the articles and research that I read, he liked to keep a close-knit circle of people in the meeting room. And to him, it made ideas flow a little faster, and rather than having a lot of random people around, just the powerful people kind of making the decisions, and in the meetings, just having a small group made it run a little smoother to him. And a funny story that I found that kind of goes along with this is, I guess Barack Obama invited Steve Jobs to a meeting which was going to include a lot of powerful executives. And Steve Jobs actually declined going to this meeting because he said that the meeting was going to be too big. It was going to have too many people, which is kind of funny. And then the next thing that he implemented for meeting strategies was called the accountability mindset. And this is basically where he would allocate responsibility for specific tasks to certain people. So basically every person would have a specific task that they were accountable for. And he utilized this because it encouraged just basically responsibility for what was going on for each person. And if something didn't get done, you know exactly who was responsible for that task not getting done. And then lastly, the third thing that he implemented in his meetings was banning PowerPoint. He just didn't like PowerPoint, I guess, and he encouraged just more face-to-face interaction because it kind of advanced the company's employees' critical thinking skills. And he didn't want people to be able to just hide behind slides and a PowerPoint presentation and be able to just hide behind their information, which is actually why I'm doing this report in this way. It's kind of face-to-face instead of like having a PowerPoint. So that's why I'm implementing this. So yeah, those were his three meeting strategies, and they still use them today, even after he has passed away. So next, I'm going to talk about their global communications. And they've kind of gone global in a couple of ways. Obviously, they're an international force in terms of technology. And one of the ways in which they've gone global is utilizing Siri. Obviously, anybody who has an iPhone can interact with their phone using Siri, and Siri can speak basically any language, and anybody around the globe can talk to their phone and interact with their phone using her. And another way that they've gone global is they kind of customize their international Apple stores. And I actually found that they have 500 international stores outside of the U.S., so 500 Apple stores outside of America, and that's pretty amazing to me. But anyways, they customize those stores specifically for a certain region, and I kind of think of this like how McDonald's does a similar thing, where their stores are customized to whatever region they're in. So a Chinese McDonald's is probably going to serve a lot different food and be a little different than an American McDonald's, or even a Northern American McDonald's might be set up a little differently, have a little menu variety compared to a Southern American McDonald's. It's just basically customizing your stores to fit your customers' needs in that certain region or specific part of the globe that those people might be in. That's kind of the way that they've gone global, along with obviously global advertising and just global accessibility. So lastly, I'm going to talk about some things that I would recommend if I worked at Apple or was the CEO of Apple, some things that I would change. Obviously, first off, that mission statement, I would switch that up for sure, because to me, my mission statement I would want to inspire the public or inspire people to use my products rather than just advertising my products. I think a mission statement can be a powerful thing if used correctly, and I think they can change theirs to be a little bit more inspiring, or you know what I mean. Secondly, something I would change is I actually found that Apple does not use Twitter, which is weird to me. They have a Twitter, but they don't follow anybody and they really don't tweet. They just basically don't use it. And I think if they utilized the social media platform, they could be even more powerful and make even more profit because they could get their products advertised even better than they already do, which would be crazy if you think about it. So those are my recommendations, and I'm really glad that I did this project about Apple because I have so many Apple products, and they have such a presence in my life, and I really learned a lot about their structure and the way they're ran, and their advertising and their communications, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of their strategies and the way that they've become so powerful. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.